Hello everybody. At 5 a.m., under Birmingham's cold and misty sky, a melodious call to prayer echoes from the minaret of Green Lane Mosque. The sound slices through the stillness, resonating between rows of red brick houses that mark this old industrial city. Slowly, people begin to arrive, some walking briskly with their jackets pulled tight, others with sleepy children rubbing their eyes. This mosque, like many others in Birmingham, is never truly empty. From dawn until night, it hums with life. Queuing classes for children. Study circles for youth. Food drives for the homeless. And of course, the 5 daily prayers, never once left unattended. These days, we even have to put up extra tents for Friday prayers, says Imam Usman with a proud smile. The mosque was built for 1,000 people. Now, we sometimes get twice that. Birmingham is no longer the gloomy industrial town of the past. It has transformed into a vibrant, diverse city, and one of the rising centers of Islamic life in the UK. Recent data shows that over 30% of Birmingham's population is now Muslim, a number that continues to grow each year. And they're not just immigrants, many were born here, raised here, and call this city home with pride. Muslim life has become part of the city's very fabric. Along the main street stand halal shops, Islamic schools, and bustling Middle Eastern restaurants. Ramadan in Birmingham feels almost like Eid, lanterns glowing in windows, night markets buzzing, and a warm sense of community in every corner. For many, especially young Muslims, this city is a symbol of hope. A place where they can live their Islamic identity with pride, without having to choose between faith and modern life. In the cold of England, Birmingham has become a place where Islam grows, not just in numbers, but in spirit. As the sun begins to rise and the city stirs to life, Birmingham reveals a side not many know: it's one of the most religious cities in the United Kingdom. In a country widely seen as growing more secular, this city is quietly heading in the opposite direction, more spiritual, more rooted in faith. In one quiet corner, an elderly man clutching a small Bible walks slowly toward his neighborhood church. Just a few blocks away, a group of young Muslim men in hoodies and snapbacks step into a mosque for the mid-morning duha prayer. In a nearby park, a Sikh couple sits on a bench reading their holy scripture in serene silence. This isn't fiction, it's a daily scene in Birmingham. When it comes to faith, Birmingham is truly unique, says Sarah Jennings, a social researcher at a local university. While many cities across the UK are losing their religious vitality, Birmingham is showing remarkable resilience. The numbers back her up. According to census reports and social research, only about 25% of Birmingham residents identify as having no religion. Contrast that with major cities like Bristol or Manchester, where the no religion figure has climbed past 40, even 50%. What does that mean? In Birmingham, belief still plays a significant role in everyday life. And it's not just about religious formality. Many communities, especially Muslims and African Christians, live their faith in vivid, active ways. They're involved in social projects, fundraising, education, and neighborhood solidarity. I grew up here. I went to school here. I pray here. Birmingham isn't just a city, it's where I found my faith and learned how to live, says Aisha, a medical student and youth mentor in the local Muslim community. Birmingham may not be the biggest city in the UK. But when it comes to faith, passion, and spiritual energy, it might just be the most alive. Here, religion isn't a relic of the past, it's a heartbeat that still pulses strong today. On a quiet street in East London stands a grand building, its stained glass windows still glowing with scenes from the Bible. But there are no church bells ringing, no congregation gathering. The sign out front now reads, Community Art Centre, open daily. Once, this was a bustling church. Today, it's an art gallery. This isn't a rare story. Across the UK, including in Birmingham and London, churches are gradually losing their congregations. Not out of anger or rejection, but because time and culture are shifting. New generations are growing up with different views on faith. And slowly, the church is losing its place in many hearts. Sometimes I sit alone in the pews, just me and 3 others, says Pastor Martin, who has served his church for over 30 years. It used to be over 100. Now we just hope someone still comes. Some churches have closed. Others have been sold. And some, ironically, have become mosques, social centers, or even restaurants. Sacred spaces once filled with hymns now echo with the call to prayer. And many of these buildings, now in Muslim hands, are being better preserved than they were before. In Birmingham, several former churches have been transformed into Islamic centers for prayer and education. One such example is Al-Hijra Mosque, once a century-old Christian church. The building remains the same, but its spirit has been reborn. Where once stood a cross, now children recite verses of the Quran. Naturally, these changes stir many emotions. There's nostalgia, a touch of sorrow, but also a sense of hope. One thing is clear, this city continues to evolve, and these buildings stand as silent witnesses to a profound spiritual shift in Britain's landscape. A building isn't just brick and wood, it's made alive by its people, said one local resident. And now, the soul of these places still lives on, just in a different form. If you look at the UK through the lens of statistics, it's easy to conclude that religion is in decline, slowly fading from modern life. But visit Birmingham, or some corners of London, and you'll quickly realize that the reality is far more complex, even the opposite. Religious life in these cities isn't dying, it's evolving. Behind the red brick buildings and busy streets, there are young faces coming to the mosque with passion. They're not just praying, they're learning, discussing, and building community. Many of them were born in the UK, raised in two worlds, a strong Islamic identity and a modern Western lifestyle. And they don't choose one over the other. They choose to bridge them. We're not immigrants anymore, says Harris, a teacher and community volunteer. We're British citizens. And we're Muslims. Those two things walk side by side. Today, mosques are not just places for the 5 daily prayers. They've become community hubs, from English language classes for immigrant parents to soup kitchens for the homeless. During Ramadan, many mosques in Birmingham open their doors to everyone, including non-Muslims, to break the fast together. Building bridges, not walls. Meanwhile, the younger generation of Muslims is growing up with a strong, yet inclusive, sense of identity. They're active in politics, art, science, media, and even in parliament. They no longer question whether they are British enough, they're showing that Islam and Britain can complement each other, not contradict. On the other hand, the quiet churches now hold lessons, too. Lessons about time. About change. About how spirituality must remain relevant and touch human hearts, not just preserve buildings. And perhaps, from all of this, we can learn one thing: faith isn't static. It moves. It grows. It adapts to the times, without losing its essence. Birmingham today reflects the future, a place where tradition and modernity coexist. A place where the call to prayer and church bells may not always ring in harmony, but both still have a place in the long story of hope, change, and human spirituality.